and what at the heart of this, there's basically a relationship and I can't really call it a romantic book. I don't think, because it's what I like about it is the relationship is unbalanced and a bit weird. In fact, like I've looked at a few reviews and people going, "Oh, I don't buy this happening so quickly," but I absolutely do buy it happening.
Yeah,
so
it's
quickly.
Interesting. Yeah,
because and I think if it was if the wealthy person was a man and it was a woman, I think people would 100% buy it.
Right.
And I think this is how a lot of affairs, which this is,
Yes.
and that can feel like love and maybe aren't love, and maybe are love, maybe are doomed to disaster. And I'm sure we've both been in situations. I mean, I identified with knowing when you kind of head over heels and go into something, but a big part of you knows there's something sort of wrong at the heart. There's an imbalance at the heart of it.
I've certainly been in romantic relationships that were, as you put it, doomed to disaster. Yeah.
And so, but through what I love about this book is that there's a tension all the way through, and you seed a lot of things in that are potentially dangerous from the job. You're thinking, well, what are they all going to pay off, or what's going to pay? There's a few things like a dodgy lock on a garage and a dodgy shower and things like this that you think, is someone's going to get electrocuted, something's going to happen here, and maybe some of them come off and some of them don't come off, but there's a lot of the book is about the tension of what's going to happen and what's going to happen when this affair is discovered.
I think, on a basic level, as many people have pointed out before me, being poor or being like just about getting away with it is exhausting because of these things. Like the lock is broken, but that would cost money. The shower needs, it's just like you're always like one thing going wrong away from being screwed, basically. And then that's how Demir in the book lives. But the wider question of the relationship is interesting. For a start, I think it depends on your romantic history, obviously, as you say. But it's completely valid criticism of how well written the book is. It's up to me as an author to make people buy the story. But whether you're prepared to believe that someone can get into a very serious affair within a couple of encounters really does depend on whether you've had that experience or not, or at least know people who have. Because as you say, that in fact is exactly what happens all the time. It's going on out there right now. And the time frame of the book is it takes place really over like a summer. So the entire relationship is sort of like 3 months. But you can have extremely intense dealings with another human over one evening, really. Over a moment, like there's a moment, in relationships that worked and in relationships that didn't work. I've often had right at the beginning a moment where it just feels, oh my God, this is it. This is it. And it's often like the first meeting. It's just, there's something chemical there that obviously, but also, she's getting something out of this relationship and he's clearly getting something out of this relationship. And then it sort of melds into being, is it real? Is it not real? Is it serious? Is it not serious? Yeah, the book, it's a sort of genuine, if not love, then at least a romantic match, a sexy match for them. And as you say, they both have something the other one wants.
It's dangerous as well, right, from both sides. So like that often just the danger of discovery of just this being, absolutely the wrong thing makes it an incredibly attractive thing.
Yeah, which again, I think is a widely held human experience. Yeah, in his case, he's going to this by his standards, rich person's house every Friday night. He knows he shouldn't be there. The husband is away. He's getting a glimpse of a life that he wouldn't ever possibly, or at least not at the moment, have. All of those things do ramp up the excitement of it, I think, for sure. It's interesting though. The cover is it is quite not just the cover, but the presentation. I'd say is quite rom-com like. And the publishers and I did sort of lock horns a little bit over this. I actually really like the colours. The pink and green works well, and it does sort of mimic the delivery companies that we can't actually mention. I think it's an eye-catching cover, but a lot of the blurbs around it and stuff is the tone is sort of like one delivery, one encounter can change your life forever, and that's not exactly what. Certainly, as you say, it's debatable whether it's not really a romantic relationship, and it's certainly not a rom-com. I think that books like that are very attractive to buyers, and I don't sort of blame them for trying to have a go at making out that it is a kind of, but it does look a bit more like a cozy beach read than it actually is. Basically, I think. So I want the reader to be uneasy about where the relationship is going, how well it's working. Originally, I did try and write it a bit more as a rom-com. Originally, I tried to make the reader really root for the relationship to work, but it's because of the imbalances. It's extremely hard for you to root for both characters at the same time. So it becomes the finished article is much more his story, the story of, and if anything, the story of his friendship with.
Well, that's going to say it is a story about the two drivers to get the riders together.
Yeah, I think part of I don't know. I think this is a technical problem, maybe, but I think to have, if you're watching a rom-com like a movie, you are, there's very rarely a voiceover or like a single person narrator. You're seeing fair amounts of both characters. So I think if I'd written this in the third person, which never was an option, it possibly would have been able to write it. You'd have been able to see more of Decca, basically see her miserable in the home, understand it from her point of view. If you write it from a first person, I have learned, it's extremely hard to make the reader root equally for him and someone else because you are in his brain for 90% of the time. So that was a lesson. I've never tried to, I have actually, I suppose, but I've not tried to write a novel for a long time where a relationship is at the core of it. And I've definitely learned that whoever's perspective you are seeing it from, you have to sympathise more with them because otherwise you wouldn't enjoy the book at all, basically. Yeah.